So that's a small deterrent there.
You know, the nickname, who the wife is, where they live, who they associate with, what kind of car they drive, the kiddies' names, Adam. And you just walk past them, all right, yeah, like his nickname, yeah. Then it worries them, you see, because they know you know everything about them.
They'll try and wind you up, you try and wind them up.
How would you do that?
Oh, just various ways. Pulling their armpit hairs when you're searching them. That gets them going. They don't like that too much. Just keep them hanging about for a little while. You know, send a P-check on them. Get them to come back here, ask them if they're part of a trace when you know they already are. Of course, that'll take 5 minutes, so that's 5 minutes you've got to stand there. If he's in a rush to somewhere, catch a bus or something, you've got to make them about as much as you can, hold them up. Obviously, we can't hold them up too much because we've got to carry on patrolling. But we keep them there as long as we can.
There are many times when you do get your own back. We had a group come out the pub who were saying my mother was going with niggers back at home and things like this. Now, I'm not colour prejudiced by any means, but the sheer fact of them trying to rile us up when they've got a belly full of beer, and we've been on the border for the last 3 nights and coming back into town was getting a bit heavy. And I can remember the guy actually saying, well, come on, I'll take you up. If you're scared about the, you know, being done or whatever, we'll one-to-one up the side. And we actually went up, excuse me, went up the side there and, well, I'm glad to say he was the one that ended up injured, not us. But he just asked for it. I mean, he pushed the troops on the ground just too far over the line, and yeah, he was off work for about a week.
All sorts of names I'll call you, and you've got to try and ignore that. I mean, it's hard, and it's bloody hard to do that, but you've got to try and ignore it, because if you take one lash at them, that's all they need. It's just for you to just have a go at them, and that's a good excuse, and also we can get done for that. Say for assault, you're not allowed to do anything. You ain't supposed to shout back at them, but you do. You just can't take it. No way can a man take so much abuse as what they give you.
Over groups, CO's in. The OC's groups obviously up at the search.
Last year, Army and police carried out nearly 900 house searches in pursuit of arms, explosives and wanted men. Despite the strict rules which govern the conduct of searches, they remain the most potent cause of hostility towards the security forces.
You normally have people in front and rear of the house to prevent anybody with anything in the house which they shouldn't have escaping and getting away before the purpose of the search is carried out. We've turned up one find in a search of in 30 searches here during our tour, and I'd say that's a normal sort of striking rate.
There were two sorts of house searches we might have to conduct. One was to look for a wanted man, and one was to look for arms and equipment. I'm afraid our methods of entering a house when looking for a wanted man were not very friendly. It was not a case of standing banging at the front door and waiting for somebody to come and answer it, because he was out over the back and away and you'd never catch him. And the streets that were so long that you couldn't put stops and backups around all the back doors and back alleys. And so the technique was to hit that door at about 30 miles an hour with your shoulder and almost explode into the house and hope that you caught the chap before he had time to get out.
Go on, push him.
There's a good boy.
Let's crack on with this debrief. In task, anybody have any findings from there? 1-0 Alpha. 1-1. 1-3. Right. Any more? Right. Cars of interest. Space Cortinas, anything?
Red Sierra, stop check vehicle.
Go ahead.
Driver Henry Parra.
Yeah. Request for ISC. Denied. Sightings.
Thomas.
Time.
17:30.
Location.
PSF office.
Any remarks? Was he with us, anybody?
Yeah, it was with Patrick.
They are high-grade terrorists, be there such a thing. They're very clever. They're extremely patient. If something isn't right today, they wait for tomorrow, and if it's not right tomorrow, they wait until next week or next month. They do one or two things that myself, and indeed lots of other soldiers, think are brave on occasions. They don't do those very often, to be honest, but brave terrorists tend to be dead terrorists.
Started to hear on the radio that there'd been an explosion, and there was a couple. They thought it was only two at the time. IRA guys had tried to put a bomb under a culvert, and they'd somehow set it off. And we went down there, and by the time we got down there, they were picking the bits up, because that's basically all there was left of them. And they had bits of bodies in plastic bags, and I remember seeing this guy's head, thinking, oh my God, that's somebody's head there, you know. And that was, because at first you thought, well, okay, they tried to blow us up and they've blown themselves up. That's tough. That was my first reaction. But then when I got down there and seeing the carnage, you just thought, oh my, Christ, they're just human beings. I mean, it didn't matter who they were. I just immediately felt sorry for them. The fact that this was somebody's father, brother, sister, whatever. It was quite shocking to see that sort of a mess, as it were. It's hard to handle.
The guys that we're dealing with are not thick paddies. Some of them from universities who make all these sophisticated bombs, and obviously they've been at the job 20 years, whereas we come in and out 4 months at a time, having to start to learn it all again.
I suppose one has to say that the bad ones are dead, because we've got them. It's the good ones that survive, and some of them are very, very good. They're probably the best terrorists in Western Europe, if that's a recommendation.
Situation is that tourists from the West Belfast area and the markets have been moving car bombs into the city centre. Attaches to RUC men from Musgrave Street. Our mission is to...
In addition to the regular army, there is the Ulster Defence Regiment.
...into the city centre.
The UDR is a 6,500 strong, predominantly Protestant force, recruited and serving only in Northern Ireland. 180 of its members have been killed, 350 wounded, many while off duty.
Oh, sir, would you have your licence on you, please? Would you have your licence on you, please?